Hey folks, and welcome to TK Power Sports. Today we're going to take a look at two ATVs from Yamaha because I want to go over all of the differences. That's the 2023 Yamaha Grizzly, and that's a 2017 Yamaha Kodiak that we actually own. So I'm going to tell you why you should buy a Grizzly, why you should buy a Kodiak, and then of course we've owned this thing for over 5 years, so I'll tell you about the reliability. Make sure you stay tuned. So you walk into the Yamaha dealership, you see these two ATVs and you say, well, what the heck is the difference? Well, let's go over it now. And the first thing I actually want to say is there's not a ton of differences. When I started digging into it, there were fewer differences than I expected. But the number one biggest difference absolutely are the tires. So over here on our Grizzly, we get a set of 27-inch Zillas from Maxxis. Over here on our Kodiak, a set of 25-inch tires from Maxxis. So that's a 2-inch difference in tires, which means that the Grizzly gets 1 inch of extra ground clearance. So over here you have 11.8 inches of ground clearance. Over here you have 10.8 inches of ground clearance. And you'll just notice the tires on the Grizzly are straight up more aggressive. So that's the one biggest area where this machine separates itself. If you're looking to really do aggressive trail riding, go into the mud, go into the snow, these tires and the ground clearance are going to make a big difference. And now beyond that, like I said, there's not a ton of differences. For instance, both of these machines get 7.1 inches of suspension travel in the front and 9.1 inches of travel in the rear. So you don't even get more suspension going for the Grizzly. It's really just about the tires. Now you do get sort of the high clearance fenders as well to fit that bigger tire. And then because this is the special edition, you also get the unique coloration. You get those beautiful wheels down there. The Grizzly is also a little bit more style forward, trying to look cool, whereas the Kodiak is all function all the time. This thing is just about working hard and getting the job done. Now the final number I want to throw at you is the price. So over here, now this is a 2017, but if you went for a 2023 Kodiak, it's going to cost you $13,499 here in Canada, whereas if you go for this Grizzly, the base model is going to cost you $14,999. So it's basically a $1,500 difference here in Canada. The Grizzly is a little bit more expensive. So you have to ask yourself, how are you going to be riding these machines to make your choice? Let me touch on overall size. The Grizzly is a little bit bigger. Now it's not any longer. They're both 81.5 inches, but the Kodiak over there is listed at 46.5 inches wide. The Grizzly here is a little bit over 49 inches wide. And there's a couple reasons. The track looks a little bit wider, but then the tires are also quite a bit wider on this model as well. So then the fenders are pushed out a little bit too. And then yeah, the Grizzly also sits about ½ an inch higher up here in the seat height than the Kodiak does. But overall, pretty similar on the spec sheet when it comes to size. Now, both of these machines are 700s, but they're not the exact same powertrain. Back in 2017, Yamaha switched to a 708cc single-cylinder engine, and that's what's in this Kodiak. Now, that was sourced from Fuji Heavy Industries. That's the parent company to Subaru. Now, Yamaha says, because they eventually moved away from this engine, that they just couldn't get them anymore from Fuji, so they moved back to their own in-house 686cc engine that's over there in that Grizzly, although yes, they're both listed as 700s. Now, like I mentioned, Yamaha said they just couldn't get the engine anymore. The internet tells a different story. A lot of people claim that this engine burns oil and had some reliability issues, so that's the reason Yamaha moved away from it. They would never admit to that, but it does seem likely. I will tell you right now, while I'm talking about it, we only have about 1,000 kilometers on our Kodiak. It just doesn't do a lot of traveling, but in our experience so far, it's actually been totally reliable, and we've never had that oil issue. We check the oil regularly. We've done, I think, 1 or 2 oil changes, and besides that, it's been good to go. So we haven't experienced that, but I guess guys who do a lot of miles, maybe they were getting that. So that's another interesting difference here. Although they're both 700s, they're not the exact same engine, so I'm actually really excited to go ride them and then feel and explain the difference. Just to be clear though, if you buy a Kodiak today, you'll also get that 686cc engine that Yamaha builds. That's the only engine they now offer. What I just mentioned about that Fuji engine, the one that's in this Kodiak, well, it was only in there for I think 2 or 3 model years, so that's only relevant if you're buying a used machine. Another thing you might have noticed that I have to talk about, this Grizzly that we have is fit with a whole bunch of accessories right from the accessories catalog. So up front, this bumper right here, that's an accessory. Down below, we have a full set of skid plates underneath this thing too. That's an accessory. And they actually go right on top of the existing skid plate that's down there. So you're actually getting double protection basically. Now up front, from Kolpin, we have these tool holders. Honestly, super handy. Things like this axe, you throw it in, you throw these rubber straps on there, and that's not going anywhere. For anyone who owns an ATV that just has a rack like this, you're always looking to strap things down, hold them on somehow, so that makes it convenient. Now, the other things we have, you'll see the Kolpin gun boot back here. If you're bringing a rifle with you, if you're going hunting, that's a nice spot. It's got a soft sleeve on the inside that's gonna protect your guns as well, so that is handy. The only downside to it is it does block kind of your entrance and exit from the one side of the machine, but you'll also see that the angle, you can customize it to wherever you like, depending on how you like to ride. That is pretty neat. I will say some of the gun boots I've seen lately on ATVs, they're mounted across the racks, so they won't get in the way like this one, but then you actually might hit something because the gun's a little wider than your machine is. Now finally, we get this massive storage bin back here on the back, extremely deep in here. You can fit lots of stuff. We even had a chainsaw in here. It has a drain hole over in the corner so you could put ice in and then drain it out. There is a rubber seal around the edge too, so it should be waterproof and dust proof. Big rubber holders right there, and then a spot right here for a padlock, which is nice so you can lock it, and on the corner a spot where you can install either an antenna or a whip if you're at an off-road park. So again, a nice spot to put all of your stuff. And now it's time, folks. We're starting here on the brand new Grizzly. First things first, full throttle. Woo! And she pulls off the line pretty nice. Just a big single cylinder, but I got no issue with the power here whatsoever. Now right away, you do feel 9.1 inches of travel, 7.1 inches in the rear. It's not a ton, and I can just say, because the most recent competitor I was on was that Can-Am Outlander 700. The Outlander has more suspension travel, and you can feel it. It floats a little bit more, it eats up a little bit more. This number, 9.171, it's just enough for suspension travel, although I'll be honest, I do wish Yamaha would come along and maybe add a bit more travel. But power's good. And ergonomics are great. I feel really comfortable standing up, sitting down. I got lots of space for my legs. The seat's a little bit on the wide side, but it's no problem for me. It's totally comfortable and pretty soft. All right, folks, now we're getting into the mud here on the left hook. And yes, there's loads of water and mud out here today. So of course, this is gonna test the tires and the clearance. All right, I'm into the water now. Man. And this is not my first time with these Zillas. They really are just so good. I think the real key that I'm going to demonstrate in this video is both these machines will go through the mud. A lot of ATVs will go through the mud, but how much control you have while going through the mud, that's the difference. And with these Zillas, 27-inch tires, that extra clearance, this machine has loads of control. Like I am down in a rut right now, a muddy rut, and I'm able to just turn the handlebars and it hops right out of the rut, no questions asked. That's always what I'm looking for in good mud tires. Tires that can go into those muddy ruts and then hop out of them. A lot of the times you get in the rut and you just feel like a slot car, but man, this thing just chugged right through there and offered me loads of control. And now, folks, here I am on the Kodiak. We'll start the same way, and that's by nailing the throttle. Here we go. Nice. Well, the power's right there as well. I don't know if there's a bit of a difference. The Grizzly maybe felt a hair more powerful, but I think I am splitting hairs there. The difference is negligible. Power feels fine, and especially if you go buy a brand new Kodiak, well, you're getting the same engine, so it's not even a question. But yeah, I don't feel a big difference from 708 to 686. Now I will tell you the big difference I do feel immediately is the width difference. The Grizzly, because it's so wide, it has this nice planted feeling. The Kodiak here, it's a little more jumpy, a little more kind of skittish, where the Grizzly felt really confident. Not a huge difference there though. And then as I come over some of these bigger whoops here, yeah, I mean, it's the exact same amount of suspension travel and it feels like it. And that is to say just enough. I do wish this one had a little bit more as well, of course. And now we get back to the left hook, where things are very muddy and the water is deep right now. So let's see how it does. All right, back into the mud. Okay, come on. Whoa, come on. Okay, well folks, definitely more tire slip there than what I had with the Grizzly. And my whole rear end kind of slid over on me there, right into the rut, and then it stayed stuck in the rut. So I think I can kind of tell the difference already, but let me come through the deep mud and water to truly see. Here we go. Down the hill and into the mud. All right, come on, hop out. Okay, well the difference there is absolutely clear. First of all, the Kodiak made it through, so this is not a question of will it make it. Yes, they will both make it. And the tires here on the Kodiak, they feel okay in the mud, but here's the true difference. In the Grizzly, when I was down in that mud pit, I had control. I could hop up and out of those ruts. I could actually really still steer that machine. Here on the Kodiak, I was much more at the mercy of the trail. I went wherever the ruts took me when I was trying. You could see I'm steering this way, the machine just keeps on going forward. That's the difference, the extra clearance, and then most importantly the size and the tread pattern on those Zillas. They just control in the mud, whereas this machine, like I said, you're just more at the mercy of the ground in front of you. So will they both do it? Yes, but the Grizzly will feel a little bit better while doing it. So with that ride through the mud, I think I can sum these two machines up pretty well. Listen, the tow ratings are the same, the rack capacity is the same, suspension travel is the same, power is the same. So if your focus with your machine is doing work around your property, hauling leaves, moving trailers, and then sometimes you might come out here on a trail ride, the Kodiak is excellent, and it's going to save you money straight up. So if it's a question of money, well, it's nice that Yamaha has this option. If, however, trail riding and sort of that ultimate off-road experience, if that's what you're chasing, the Grizzly is better, straight up. You can feel it on the trail. It feels more confident. It does a little bit more than the Kodiak does. And that's where I think you have to ask yourself, what am I going to use this machine for? And then which one suits my needs better, because they definitely are different. Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this one. Now, I don't think there's a winner here. Really, it's just about what you want to do with your ATV. If looking cool and absolute off-road dominance are your priorities, then your obvious choice is the Grizzly. But if you want to save a few bucks and still get a ton of work done and not ride like a crazy man out on the trail all day, well, then you're probably going to go for a Kodiak. But now, of course, I want to hear from you. So go below, let me know what you think of both of these ATVs. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hey, hit join to become a member of our latest channel, TK Power Sports, and then come right back here to see what we're testing next. See ya.